Hello, everyone who is joining us today. It is nice to meet you all, and I'm excited to see so many interested teachers and attendants at the event we're meeting today. I'm Virginijus, category manager for 5th to 12th grade published products of Šviesa. And today we have a two-part event with Pearson Publishing on very relevant topics for our English teachers. How to get young learners motivated and engaged with Pearson education. Today we will have two-part event. Both of them will last 45 minutes. In the first part, we will talk about English code, publications, and how to engage and motivate primary learners. And at the second part, we will talk more about Focus Second Edition, technologies and solutions for your lessons. As Šviesa, we always want to make easy decisions for our teachers, and working with Pearson, one of the world's leading learning companies, I believe it can be done easily. Before we start our event, I want to share some technical information. If you have any questions during the event, I invite you to write them in the comment section. We will answer them at the end. And so I want to wish you all a good event. And now I can wait to present our guest from Pearson, Iveta Vitola.
So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our today's webinar for teaching and working with primary students. Let me share my screen so that you can follow my presentation. I hope you can see it now. Probably with some of you, we have met before during some face-to-face events in past, but if not, then as Virginijus mentioned, I represent Pearson in the Baltic countries, and one of the key areas we are focusing on is to provide and organize workshops on key topics to support teachers in their daily work with their students. The topic of today's session is really close to my heart. I have worked with different age groups, but teaching young learners has always been, I have to say, the most challenging, the most enjoyable, and also the most rewarding time. Why challenging? Challenging because I was experimenting a lot with activities, with different teaching methods to find the best ones that really work with this age group. Enjoyable, because you can be really creative and adventurous, taking risks and trying out different activities, ideas, and experiences. And whenever I meet teachers, I always stress this factor of being the most rewarding one, because this is that age group where you can immediately see the result of your work at the end, because students copy you, and when you assess them, you can see what you have taught them. And probably being motivated and engaged as a teacher, it helped me to motivate and engage my students in the learning process. And probably this experience of teaching young learners will help you as well in terms of material I will share with you today. So very, very briefly, what we are going to discuss today. So we will look at what it takes to have a motivated and engaged class. We will look at multiple examples, how to challenge students to engage them in learning, and through that engagement, also have to make observable progress. We will look at the ways to develop a coding mindset to support creative language learning and engage our students with content which encourages creativity, problem solving, collaboration, and real-world communication. And definitely, I will show you and explain you all the support what you as a teacher can get from Pearson if you work with our materials. I have found valuable ideas for high student engagement in Andy Griffiths and Mark Burns' book, Engaging Learners. I really recommend this one to everyone who works with young learners classroom. And what authors mention about engagement, they stress that engaged class is not the class that is compliant and following instructions. Engagement refers to the class enjoying and being absorbed in the challenge of their learning, and through that engagement, making observable progress. And we as teachers, we know that without engagement, nothing else is possible in the class. Engagement is a starting point of everything. If you want to create a sense of flow in the class, your students need to become intrinsically motivated, which means driven by the desire to succeed in class and by what happens in the lesson. And we as teachers, we have some power to influence this intrinsic motivation. Curiosity is another essential factor in the primary classroom. And to be curious is to have the desire to figure out or to understand, to be eager to learn or to know. And children learn because they are curious. For many students, stimulating their curiosity significantly increases their engagement. And curiosity keeps students on their toes. Stimulating curiosity is an essential habit of mind to develop. And so we'll focus around engagement, motivation, and curiosity. So let's have a look at the material which is included in English Code. Our primary series, highly recognized by language experts and also by teachers who were involved in primary survey last year. We are proud to present English Code because the course was last year's Alton's Awards finalist in the Excellence in Course Innovation category. This is a 7-level course, including starter level, but we will primarily focus on the first 4 levels which are particularly for primary levels you are working with. And the course fully complies with the requirements of your new curriculum being developed by our ministry. What is interesting about English code and what is unique or different from any other primary course you have seen so far? In English code, language learning takes place through creative tasks, through investigation, projects, and experiments. And learning through STEAM subjects helps with engagement. It's motivating for students because it gives them a reason to learn, to understand, and to discuss the subject. Huge attention is paid to project work. And as we all know, projects are a great way for students to learn, practice, and review their vocabulary, language, and also learning skills. And I will go through all these key elements one by one. Teachers always ask us to tell more about the concept of coding mindset. So, in other words, coding mindset is a willingness to experiment, an acceptance that you will make mistakes, an understanding that your improvement will not be linear, and knowing that perseverance will succeed. So English code develops students' coding mindset by teaching life skills from the domain of computational thinking and coding. And these skills are integrated in the language learning activities, but they don't rely on technology. These activities are marked as code crackers throughout the course. So let's have a look at some samples of different code crackers and how English code enables students to build this coding mindset while studying English. In this particular sample activity, you can see on the screen, students will learn how a sequence works by identifying the pattern of pictures and the sounds they represent. Then they will choose a correct picture and sound to continue the sequence. So algorithm or sequencing is one example of a coding mindset. Another code cracker sample here, which is involving also TPR activities, total physical response activity. Students will learn how functions work by using a picture code to make movements with their bodies. And like in this particular activity, they will role play a dragon routine together with 3 friends. So really great activity, lots of fun during the lesson. Another code cracker sample here, where students will learn how events work by completing the table using ticks and crosses to show what activities they and their partner do. And I find variables a great way for teaching adverbs of frequency to describe how often, for instance, an action happens. In this sample of coding mindset, students will learn how variables work by substituting always, often, sometimes, and never into a real life conversation. So the task asks them to create their own key, complete the table for themselves and for the partner, and afterwards tell partner new results. And I'm sure we are familiar with such activities, but in English code, you will everywhere see clear coding and these activities will be properly marked. I know that students love also projects and project work. Of course, projects inspire and always focus our students on particular work to complete. How projects are incorporated in English code. So students are presented with a problem they need to think about and solve at the start of each unit. And as they work through the lesson in the unit, they build the knowledge and skills they need to complete the project at the end of the unit. Projects also provide many other benefits beyond simply making something. Primarily, they encourage students to take responsibility for their own learning, to work as part of a team. They demand students to work with others, to think creatively, and to use that creativity to discuss, plan, and make the final project. And in English codes, students complete projects that are relevant to their everyday life and future. And of course, every project work demands applying critical thinking skills and problem-solving skills in the process. You will also find that projects help with practicing mediation skills from the very beginning of language learning. And if you happened to attend our mediation webinar last week, then you could learn more about mediation practice in primary and secondary classroom. If not, then English code is that particular course where you can find mediation skills practice. And if you are interested in learning more about mediation skills and how to teach them in the lessons, you can go to our website, and a recording of mediation webinar will be available there. With English code, students are also able to discover grammar rules for themselves. What teachers love about grammar and the way how it is taught in English code, it's that grammar is presented in short chunks of language. And it helps students to learn grammar easily. Then example sentences are presented in a real-world setting that students can identify with. And students practice and produce the grammar chunks in a variety of listening, speaking, reading, and writing activities throughout the lesson and revise them throughout the unit. Pupils' book provides easy-to-use reference tools with grammar boxes at the start of each lesson, showing example sentence. Plus, there is a grammar reference section at the back of the book for all levels, providing a summary of the grammar structures learned in every unit. More and more teachers demand phonics to be included in the course book syllabus. So phonics is a great way of teaching children to read and write, and it also helps to improve pronunciation and confidence in speaking. So students learn new sounds through chants and videos, and then they practice these sounds through various activities. And finally, they produce the sounds themselves in different situations, including creative activities, as you can see in the sample page on the screen. The chants actually help students better remember and recall sounds through rhythm and context. English code includes a lesson in each unit using CLIL, Content and Language Integrated Learning Approach, where students learn English through other subjects: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So in other words, acronym STEAM. Such approach is motivating, and it gives them a reason to learn, to understand, and also to discuss the subject matter. They also use what they know already about the subject to understand what they are learning in English, and that helps us to keep them focused. Every STEAM lesson starts with a presentation of the subject and any new language that students will need to complete the whole lesson. Then follows practice activities to check students' understanding of the new language and concepts included. And afterwards, productive activities where students can apply their learning in different contexts, including personalized and creative activities. Every lesson ends with an experiment to answer a question and also ask students to draw conclusions. There are videos on each subject to extend the lesson, so some of which also come with additional materials to use besides what is in the student's book. English code supports students' development of future skills, and it places strong emphasis on the so-called 4 C's, what we know as creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. Again, all of these future skills or 21st century skills which are included in your new curriculum. Let's have a look at each of the skills separately. So if we speak about creativity, then students can develop their creative potential in a variety of ways. For example, through hands-on making activities. exposing students to a variety of arts and encouraging students to think and work creatively. Creative activities encourage students to make things, to develop language skills, and also inspire visual thinking. Activities include, for example, drawing a picture dictionary, writing a story, creating a model city from recycled materials. All of them really engaging and motivating and arising students' curiosity. And creativity is learned through stories, plays, songs, and chants as well. And you can find also these activities marked as act out, draw, dance, and projects. Students can engage in real-world communicative activities and build their real-world communication skills. Communicative activities engage students to personalize language, collaborate, and recall language they have learned, and communication and writing lab lessons present and practice functional language relating to the topic students are covering. For example, conversations, presentations, videos, games, emails, letters, reports, advertisements, different types. So students can also use their communication skills through researching, planning, creating, and presenting their projects. Critical thinking skills are developed through collecting or identifying evidence, creating arguments, identifying strengths and weaknesses, suggesting opportunities for improvement. Every lesson provides students with support to develop their critical thinking skills through a variety of contexts. Encourages them to think critically by analyzing problems so that they can find the best possible solution. And of course, coding activities and experiment lab lessons are the ones which really focus on critical thinking skills development. You will also find lots of collaborative activities to engage your students in. During speaking activities, students can practice and produce new and previously learned language. They can also improve their collaboration skills by working with different partners and learning, for instance, to offer or ask for help, to give and receive feedback, etc. And working in pairs and groups, students work together to produce a performance, to discuss and answer questions, and also draw conclusions. Teachers always ask about digital tools which are available for any material. And I have to say that teachers working with English Code really admire a digital offering. It's extremely important visual tool to engage and motivate primary students. And if you have proper digital support, then it's easier to engage your students in the classroom. On Pearson English portal, you have all the necessary tools in one place, from planning and running an effective lesson to supporting your teaching. So Teachers Access Code provides easy work with presentation tool and wealth of resources to supplement your lessons with valuable materials like presentations, grammar animations, different videos, STEAM videos, phonics videos, songs, lesson plans, and other useful resources that uncover the power of language to convince, startle, and amaze your students. Actually, you can see this resource section on the screen, and under every icon there is a wealth of material hidden you can use with your students. So teacher presentation tool allows you easily plan your lessons, preview each activity, and view teaching notes all in one place. And you can't forget about teachers' paper book, because you've got everything next to the material you plan to teach. If we speak about presentation tool, then you can use it to present the pupil's book on the screen. You can navigate through the lesson with a unique lesson flow, which you can see at the bottom of the screen. You can go from one activity to another. Every activity opens in a new window, and you have access to page view, all the teaching tools, embedded audio and video, as well as teaching notes with a simple click of a button. Primary students love games. They are engaging and interactive class games, again, within the portal. And you've got widgets available to support each activity. You've got timer, you've got scores option. If you are playing with your students in teams, in pairs, and so on, everything is on the screen, visible for students, and very, very interactive. And there is one more function that I absolutely love. It's dictionary. This built-in dictionary, which I have enlarged here, is a great tool to listen to pronunciation, actually to introduce dictionary from the very start when you start working with primary learners. You can listen to different accents like British English or American English, and there is even more included in this particular dictionary, depending on the age and level of your students. You can dig deeper with the dictionaries because you can see samples of usage of particular word in the context. And again, all the samples are the ones you can click on and listen to these sample sentences. I really recommend and encourage introducing dictionary from the very, very beginning. Teachers can also switch easily from presentation tool for workbook with embedded show answers. This is especially great, especially when you check your students' homework And we know that our students are visual learners and they remember better what they see. And this is the only primary course available that has such digital offering for a workbook that you can also use it online and show all the answers. Plays are a great way for children to revise their language and learning skills. And they enable students to read and recite the lines. They also help them to become clear and confident speakers. The Bug Club plays are designed for young learners in mind, and they include engaging illustrations. You can use plays in different ways. For instance, for an end of semester performance or for some open class events. And for teachers working with English Code series, you can have access to 12 Bug Club plays, two plays per each level. And for instance, in level 1, you can have access to 2 Bug Club plays, Get the Parrot and The Last Egg. They are absolutely great plays. Just to give you some idea about the first one, Get a Parrot. This is a play about 2 characters, Sam and Pippa, who want to get another pet. And as you can see from the cover, this pet is a parrot. But there is one huge but. Their parents don't think it is a good idea to have a pet parrot. There is some kind of solution. Their grandma comes up with a plan to help children. I won't tell more to keep you curious to learn about the whole play yourselves. I'm sure your students will be absolutely engaged and curious to learn what is happening with these particular children and whether they succeed in getting parrot or not. English Code has also got English Code has been built upon the Global Scale of English Learning Objectives, or GSE objectives. Each lesson in English Code has a learning objective, and teachers can explore the learning objective with their students at the start of each lesson, and afterwards review at the end of each lesson. And in the student's book, the objectives relate to the vocabulary, grammar, and skill descriptors within the GSC. And learning objectives appear at the start of each lesson, like I will learn art, item words, and then now I can statements at the end of each unit. Each unit also provides teachers with an overview of the global scale of English, reading, listening, speaking, and writing objectives covered. And it's a so-called teacher's mapping booklet, which is a great component to perform an ongoing assessment. Mapping booklet provides an overview of the learning objectives covered in each unit of the course, describing what learners should be able to do at each of the 4 language skills: listening, reading, speaking, and writing, as you can see on the screen. And you will also find page where particular activity is practiced. We always say that we support all our teachers working with Pearson materials. And if we speak about gratis pack for teachers, then it consists of teacher's book with teacher's access code, providing an access to presentation tool and all the resources on Pearson English portal, plus a complimentary access to Primary Academy. If we speak about Primary Academy, then it's a bank of extra resource materials you can use with your primary students. And when we look at teachers area, it includes videos, songs, photocopyable worksheets, games, grammar PowerPoint presentations for visual teaching of grammar concepts, as well as valuable teaching tips. And in Primary Academy, there is a separate section for students, the so-called student area, that contains videos, songs, and learn-at-home activities, particularly designed for primary students. And the students love playing games. There are 10 games created in partnership with SEPO, with the aim to practice and revise language learned in the classroom. Games have 3 levels and the mission to complete for each game. And you can see the title and level of difficulty on the screen. The games grow with their learners and engage and motivate your digital students. I'm absolutely sure that engagement, motivation, and curiosity are essential to have a flow in the lesson. And I'm convinced that working with English code will help you to achieve that in your classroom with your primary students. I'm sure you also might have some questions to ask. I think it's the right time for questions. Virginius, do you see any questions? Do we have?
Yes, but I'm checking on our comments box and I don't see any questions.
Okay.
So until we have another part, we're asking our guest to write questions if you have any of them, and we will answer them after all the event. Do we need a break for 5 minutes, or can we move to second part?
I think we can move. Just give me a minute, just to one presentation to another one, and then I'm ready to continue. I will stop. No, actually I can. So I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who joined only for the first part of the session for primary 1. And here is my email address. You're welcome to drop me a line and ask the questions you might have. So I'm happy to assist and help you with the answers. Yet I know that you are all in very good hands, and Shweta is your first or key one you will contact if you have some as a local partner. So thank you very much. And switching to second presentation. I expect you will introduce certain things to our new to teachers who are joining only for the second session, right, Virginius?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
For the second part, we have a topics related to Focus Second Edition. And I believe our guest, that definitely bring us some answers, what is provided in the textbook sets, what resources, tasks, internships are offered to students. So Iveta, you can take and show what you prepared for us.
Okay, thank you. Just a sip of water.
Of course, we all need them.
Yeah, so I presume some of you have joined only for the second session, as you might not work with primary teachers, primary students, and your focus is secondary school teachers. So I want to say good afternoon to those who are joining us right now, and welcome to our secondary session. Technologies and solutions. Actually, I gave also a subtitle for this, Challenges of Hybrid Teaching and Learning. And I will explain with my following slides why actually I have included this subtitle as such. For those who haven't met me before, I'm representing Pearson in the Baltics. I'm assisting in-service and pre-service specialists in the field of ELT. I'm also providing workshops and teacher training seminars to make sure teachers have access to fresh methodology ideas, teaching tips, and also training in latest digital solutions for English classroom. During this session, together with you, we will look at digital learners in our classroom. We will explore digital tools for successful language acquisition. And also we will look at techniques for planning and delivering effective lessons. Well-developed digital resources play an important role in the teaching process and help make learning more effective, whether it's teaching and learning in a classroom, remotely, or in a hybrid of both. And you will also learn about support teachers and users of Pearson materials can receive on a daily basis. I want to start with Pearson Global Learner Survey. In September 2019, or as we can call pre-COVID time, Pearson released the results of the survey, which was a new study capturing the voice of learners worldwide. To give you some numbers regarding this survey, it was 20 minutes long online survey, which was conducted in May 2019. It was completed by more than 11,000 people aged between 16 to 17 years old across the globe. And this particular survey revealed that people are using technology in every aspect of their lives. and they are now embracing it as part of their education. And brief points from the survey. People around the world expect digital and virtual learning to be the new normal in the next decade. And from online degrees, artificial intelligence tools, and smart devices, people see the future of learning made easier and more engaging with technology. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed education forever. Education and digital technologies are inseparable today. And this technological component of learning is constantly growing. We speak about technologies for better education, about 21st century challenges in education and how digital technologies can help us. And the focus is on the benefits of using digital tools and the materials that support the development of students' knowledge, skills, and practice, as well as support students' personal development and enjoyment. The good thing is that the growing prevalence of technology inside and outside the classroom make things a whole lot easier for us as teachers. That's why I want to have a closer look at the digital learner in our classroom and what we do need to know about them. Technology has become an indispensable part of teenagers' lives. And it's obvious that digital solutions have their place in our education system. It's also clear that technologies will stay for any teaching scenario, whether we speak about face-to-face, remote, and hybrid, as computers and smartphones have already become a full-fledged learning devices for students in any stage at school. I want to take some findings from the book I find extremely interesting for every teacher, for every parent, when we speak about teenagers. It's psychologist Jean Twenge, who's professor at San Diego State University, and she has written one of the books, iGen, you can see here. But she's also author of more than 140 scientific publications and books. And what is interesting about this particular material I mentioned, she names the generation born between 1995 and 2012 iGens. Or smartphone generation for their ubiquitous use of the iPhones and social media. It's interesting that she used large-scale surveys of 11 million young people to draw a detailed portrait of the qualities that make today's teens unique and different from past generations. And she has described all her findings in this book, iGen, why today's super connected kids are growing up less rebellious, more tolerant, less happy, and completely unprepared for adulthood. And what that means for the rest of us. So what can we as educators take away from 20's thoughtful analysis? It's how can we prepare hygienists for life and work? How can we help them develop skills and competences? How can we leverage educational technologies in the classroom to meet the hygienists' learning preferences, and also how to engage them and sustain their attention in a buzzing world. In other words, how can we help hygienists learn better? I'm sure those of you who have been working with teenagers for quite a long time have probably noticed that today's generation of teenagers and also young people is different from any generation before them. Why? Because they are the first generation to spend their entire adolescence with a smartphone. They are also the first generation for whom internet access has been constantly available, right there in their hands. And there is also an interesting fact mentioned in the book, that the average teen checks his or her phone more than 80 times a day, which is a lot. Of course, this has a serious effect on many areas of their lives. So it's important to understand how they live and learn, because the availability of technology and this constant access to the internet has also changed the way how they learn. And we all know that all these digital technologies offer stimulation for our brains and keep us entertained and captured for prolonged stretches of time. And the world within it as well. And the digital, in this digital world, it may be more interesting to the user than the analog world. We also have to speak about concentration span, which has decreased, allowing only 8 to 12 seconds of focusing on the subject before moving on to something new, unless the content is catchy. That's why modern teaching requires this right mix of high quality content and technology delivered in interesting and engaging ways so that students can learn better. Let's explore some materials and digital tools that will help you to deliver the lessons and keep a student's engagement level high. I want to introduce Focus Second Edition series, which are approved by your Ministry of Education. If we speak about Focus Second Edition, then it's built on the methodology of 3 M's, that of motivation, memorization, and meaningful practice. Plus, it offers a wide range of digital support to enrich teaching and learning experience. All core lessons are built around specific learning outcomes and develop the language skills students need to succeed and excel both in and out of the classroom. Focus Second Edition also provides extensive in-course language and exam practice. So it enables students to personalize their learning and make also steady progress. And all new extra digital activities help students achieve positive results and also great exam results. Focus Second Edition comes with teacher digital tools and resources available through the Pearson English portal. And on the screen, you can see key ones. I will introduce one by one. The course also comes with student digital activities, resources that can be used for self-directed study. Pearson English portal is the go-to place for both teachers and students for teaching and learning. And this is a place where each teacher and each student can have access to all the necessary materials. For the first time, you need to sign in in the Pearson English portal. When you come back to resources, you only, first you need to register, and then when you come back, you only sign in your particular portal. You have all course content accessible via an internet browser from any place, school or home. And let's have a look what is available for teachers. You actually have all support tools for running a lesson. There is a presentation tool, which is equivalent of past active teach component. There are all teacher resources, assessment package enhanced by a test generator tool, and online practice, whether it's additional students' book resources for students or a fully interactive workbook for students. Everything is now accessed via Pearson English platform. And all these digital tools make it much easier for you to work in class, whether it's in the classroom face-to-face or you have to work remotely. When you choose a course, in this case, I'm taking sample of Focus Second Edition, which you use with your students. You simply choose the right material you want to use. And if we take the first one, Focus, it means as a product, we will land in a presentation tool, which provides us all the teaching material in one place, or all your course book content in one place, with even more materials included. You can also have access to word store, as you can see on the screen, to vocabulary bank, and also to grammar sections to use with your students' book. So presentation tool is available, and all your students' book content is available on the screen. While you are preparing for your next lesson, there is an option to use planning mode or planning stage. And here you can preview all the activities, and you can see all teaching notes next to every activity. When you switch from planning to teaching mode, this is the one you can use with your students in class while running the lesson. You can have access to both student's book and workbook, which is absolutely fantastic way and allows you to switch easily from one material to another one. Besides functions that you can enlarge every page, you can have each particular activity opening in separate window. You also have all your audio and video material available next to each activity. You also have instant access to video material. You can use every video with or without subtitles, of course, using the full screen mode during the lesson. And you also have all activities there, all questions to open and work with. Besides, in Focus Second Edition, you will find mediation practice activities throughout material. And I want to remind you that in case you did not manage to join us for mediation workshop last week with Anna Kolbuszewska, where she introduced mediation tasks, you can go to our website and have this recording available and learn more about mediation tasks. But as I know that your curriculum has included mediation, then you will find plenty of activities in Focus Second Edition. This is only one of examples with listening and practicing listening skills, and also practicing speaking skills from Focus Second Edition. Of course, everyone is interested in all digital resources for teachers and what exactly we can find there. So digital resources enable you to adapt the course to meet different students' needs. Again, whether you are working in class or during an online lesson, or also for self-directed study. So the resources contain really wealth of material for different teaching needs. You can find assessment package, photocopyable resources. As I mentioned, audio and video, all word lists, culture notes, lesson plans, very, very detailed ones, answer key, is exam section and test generator tool. You will find life skills lessons and career skills videos. Also access to students' extra digital activities and resources, which come with every student's book. So wealth of material, as I'm saying, and the best feedback we receive from teachers is that they don't need to spend time on finding and searching for the right material. They can save their time just checking what is available and choose from all the resources which are prepared. What teachers highly value is teacher's mapping booklet, which is developed for each level of the course. And the mapping booklet provides an overview of the learning objectives, which are covered in each unit of the course, you are using with your students. This teacher's mapping booklet helps with goal setting, and you can also use for assessment needs. Again, for all skills covered for listening, reading, speaking, and writing, you can see every activity, learning objective, and also on which page each particular activity is covered. Online practice includes all workbook activities in an interactive digital format. Our students are used to instant feedback, and they will really benefit from that because online practice also provides automatic grading of their personal performance. Students will find extra grammar and vocabulary checkpoint activities, and they can also access reading, listening, and use of English banks of exercises and texts, as well as all audio and video resources which are included in the student's book. So even video can be set as a home task for students, and I'm sure they will love such home task of watching video and preparing for the next lesson. Teachers appreciate test generator. And when we speak about test generator, it allows to make it easier for teachers to assign and for students to complete tests. Of course, this is especially useful when we speak about online versions of tests, because then you can have automatic marking. But if we speak about test generators, then you can create the test as you want. You can choose test items from the assessment package, which are available with the course. And what you can do is you simply pick and choose those activities you need either for your class, for your group, or for individual students. And you simply choose the ones you want to assign to your students. What is even better compared to any other test, in the next step, when you create the test, you can choose which students answer which questions, or you can randomize the questions to ensure that your students do not receive the same test, just to avoid an element of cheating in your class. Or if some of your students have been ill, they come afterwards to rewrite the test, then you can easily create the same test but randomize the questions in case you think student might cheat. And the last step is you simply assign the tests online to your students, which, as I mentioned, provides you instant marking. Or you can create these PDF versions. You can print out the test, but then it means you have to mark every test yourself. Again, tests work with whichever classroom situation you are in. But the feedback from teachers is definitely positive for online test and online marking tool because it greatly saves your marking time. We have new digital enhancement, and it's called Pearson Active Books. And we have two versions of Active Books, Pearson Active Book for students and Pearson Active Book for teachers. Let's first have a look at the Pearson Active Book for students. What does it mean, Active Book? It's 100% online interactive students book with a wide range of interactive activities, integrated multimedia, as you can see, audio and video is integrated, just to make learning effective and enjoyable, and again, for students to learn at any place, anytime. And if you look at this page, you can see that it's very user-friendly. The layout and all icons next to every activity are very clear on how to navigate by page and by activity for students. So students have everything online, as I said, 100% online interactive students book. We also have Active Book for teachers. And for teachers, it provides even more than for students. First of all, Active Book for teachers combine online interactive students books with extra functionalities. Teachers have got presentation tool which helps deliver lessons in the classroom using an interactive whiteboard or projector, or simply when you work remotely, you share screen during the video conferences. For teachers, the functionalities include also notes, scoreboards, highlighter, timer, show answer module, and also separate whiteboard. When we speak about assessment section, then this particular tool allows to assign online tasks for students as a homework. So far, we were talking only about workbook, where we can assign activities for students and see the report or gradebook, how well students succeed or progress. Now it's possible also with the Active Book. And especially if we don't know the scenario for next school year, how much it will be online or face-to-face. We all hope for face-to-face, but we never know. So you are, with Active Books, you are prepared for any teaching scenario. And reporting, Active Book reporting will allow you also to receive this automatic feedback on students' progress. What I mean for feedback on students' progress when they work with Students' Book, you will be able to see all the scores or how well students have succeeded with the material. You will be able to see all the attempts students have used to complete the task. You will be able to see also all the mistakes and errors while students were working with Active Book or Students' Book, interactive Students' Book. And one more feature for teachers, it's virtual classroom, which enables you to run online lessons with real-time monitoring of students' work. So fantastic tool for both teachers and students. We have so far received fantastic feedback from those schools, those teachers working with ActiveBooks. One thing is to tell about ActiveBooks, but I want to recommend you to explore all these demo versions yourselves. Simply try out this functionality, which is available in the ActiveBook, and simply see yourselves all these advantages I'm talking about. You can access this demo version via our website page. We will definitely send you all these links afterwards. Virginius will send you all follow-up information, but I just want to guide you very, very briefly through how exactly you can find it. So when you go to our website, and when you have access to Pearson Lithuania, then you go to your account and you go to ActiveBooks. There is a short description about the ActiveBook, and you simply have to click on Explore the demo now. You can read more about each particular ActiveBook, but this particular button guiding you to demos is here when you have demos. And when you click on demos, then you have access to Focus Second Edition Level 3, which is intermediate level, and Level 4, which is upper intermediate level. So really explore it and let us know also your feedback. Besides all these tools, there is one more great tool for students to use, and this is Pearson Practice English app. When we speak about our materials, then this app is available for every student working with Focus Second Edition, and students can access it whether they are using iOS or Android system. And this access code is in the student's book. What does it mean to have this app on the phone? Simply students can practice additional activities which allow to memorize language, expand vocabulary, or even prepare for the forthcoming test, because there are loads of activities for every unit. There are fantastic audio and video included, and actually they revise material which is covered in the student's book. This is also another extra practice for your students. And very, very briefly, to sum up, why digital materials enhance our teaching. So when we speak about enhancing teaching and learning process, they build on students' autonomy. Each student can follow their own learning path, and students can learn according to their own pace and abilities, and also develop self-learning skills. Even if we speak about a secondary course, an inbuilt gamification mechanism, award system, enables students to gain virtual stars, medals, and trophies and it helps with motivation greatly. Also, interactive activities, multimedia, and various types of tools enhance learning process. But it's also important for this type of generation, or iGens, as we clarified at the beginning, they always expect instant results, instant feedback. And this is what is provided by use of digital material. And instant results provide insight into students' progress, as well as identifies the skills gaps and room for improvement, thus helping students to progress. And all digital tools are perfect for in-class work, remote teaching and learning, or for hybrid one. We also support teachers working with materials, and teachers having decided to adopt Focus Second Edition and use it with their learners will get teacher's book, actually, which is gratis pack for teacher, because with a teacher's book, you also get access to all the resources on Pearson English portal and Teacher's Active Book. These are 2 access codes included in the teacher's book. Plus, all teachers will have complimentary access to Upper Secondary Academy. And if we speak about Upper Secondary Academy, then it's a dynamic bank of exciting, high-quality resources for educators and also for English learners. We speak about Upper Secondary Academy. These are just resources you can find there. And what really helps in teaching, these are grammar animations. Both students and teachers love culture cards about English-speaking countries, as well as these real English lessons for culture and communication. And you can see also lovely support material as pronunciation chart, irregular verbs, table, vocabulary maps, and speaking flashcards. So lots of additional material as well. For those who want to learn more about how to teach with focus online, we will send you a link where you can have access to this material and go through it step by step. There is also another support material, and we have prepared the so-called support material for teaching and engaging face-to-face or online lessons, ESOP methodology with clear guidance through engage, study, activate, and practice stages. And these 4 lesson elements are the building blocks for successful language learning. You can easily apply this ESOP framework for face-to-face lessons to engage learners in the classroom. And you will also find a very detailed guidance for ESOP methodology to apply for your online lessons. That's all from my side. I hope it was useful, and I'm happy to answer any questions that might be here in the chat box.
Thank you very much, Yvette. I believe that all this information was very useful, and I'm glad to say we have and received some questions in our chat section, and there is one where asking, can we repeat where we can find the record of mediation day? Do we already have a record of that day?
I have to check. The webinar took place last week. It was on the 24th of March. Yes. And usually it takes some 10 days to be there on the website, but it will definitely be there. And I will provide the link where all our previous webinars, recordings from all our previous webinars can be found.
Okay, thank you very much. And another one, which I believe will be perfect for the end of the event. So our guest asking if you had to name the biggest advantages of Focus second edition, what would they be?
Definitely digital, because it makes teachers' life much, much easier. If the user knows or has used Focus first edition, then in comparison to the first edition, I have to say that video material in Focus second edition is absolutely amazing. And when we say it's BBC videos, I think we don't need to explain further, because we all understand what BBC means. Teachers and students love the content of videos. There is also absolutely brilliant preparation for exams. Again, the best feedback from the teachers is that working with Focus second edition, you don't need to look for other sources, because, for instance, in speaking part for exam, all topics covered in Focus actually are the ones that students have to show their knowledge and skills during the exam. And Active Book is something that I'm sure your students will appreciate working with. But yeah, digital resources is something that teachers absolutely love.
Yes, of course. And I can add what is for me most valuable uniques is what is educated on children's, like analysis skills, innovation, independence, critical thinking, problem solving. So much competence where children have growing and improve themselves. So thank you very much, Veta, for joining us today for the event and very relevant topics. We heard a lot of really useful information. And as I said at the beginning, I hope that it will be the best help for teachers to make easy decisions.
Thank you very, very much. Absolutely enjoyed to be with you, despite the fact that I couldn't see people. But if you have any other questions, then you can drop me a line and I'll definitely answer you. I'm sure that Shvesa, as your key contact point, will also help you with any questions. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Goodbye.
Thank you and goodbye.